Hello and welcome in everyone to Around the Ice on Fantasy in Frames. I'm your host JT, along with my boys Toast and Aaron Tomatich. We are talking Eastern Conference today. We're going to go through the divisions, talk about free agent signings, trades, offseason moves, kind of what's been going on. In case you missed it last week, go back and check out our NHL draft edition. We went through the draft, talked about player picks ups, kind of who went where, and then also went through our dynasty draft, our home league, and then another draft that me and Toast are in called Black Aces. That's a salary cap league. So go check those out if you weren't kind of out there wondering, still haven't had your draft, like, hey, where are some of these guys going in relation to the league and the type of style? We talk about that because while our home league is a bangers league, our other one's a salary cap league that is not quite as hits heavy. So we talk about a little bit differences of where some of those guys went all over the place. So please go back and check that out on Fantasy and Frames. Follow us on Fifth Hockey on X if you can. You can follow me at JT Orange, Toast at Toast Clark, and Aaron Thomas is at Titch41. Welcome in, fellas. This is episode 2 of the new season. Great to be back with you guys.
Yeah, hey, apologies ahead of time, guys. If anybody actually watching there live, I'm actually standing up. Was making a bed yesterday and actually threw my back out. The previous time I'd actually done that was maybe about a year and a half ago. I was reaching for a thing of sour cream in a refrigerator and actually threw my back out. So
Get it old sucks.
That's where we're at. I mean, it's, yeah. My grandpa used to say it's hell getting old, and it really is.
I was just saying the same thing. I
tonight.
peaked my neck last week, killing me. Yeah, I just gonna say my neck has been killing me. I've been getting headaches all week. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, what is happening to us? We're falling apart over here. Good thing we're not playing any hockey games here anytime soon.
Yeah, I really just wanted to show off the best jersey in sports right here. So that's really what I wanted to do. So we're representing tonight as usual.
Toast, and before we get going, I found the find of the week. I got you and me both a jersey. Aaron, you didn't luck out into getting one because there was only 2 left. But we have a Dick's Sporting Goods here that has like a discount store. They send all the stuff from all the Dick's all around here, and then they sell it at a discount, trying to get rid of it, old inventory. They had 2 red Connor Bedard jerseys left. Blackhawks, I got them for $75 a piece. Instead of the $225 normal price tag on there. So I called Toast. I was like, I'm going to buy this for you, but you want one, right? Like, he's like, yes, I'm in for $75. I was like, okay. So I've got it sitting here in my basement next to me. I got Toast. I got mine hanging up. I got Toast one. I was going to get you one, but they had 2 left. We got the last 2. So kind of lucked out on that one. So that was my find of the week. We went to go get a couple odds and ends. They had some footballs. I wanted to pick up some new footballs for my son's tackle football team that starts in a week. So I was like, we were kind of short on footballs last year, and they had some on sale. So I was like, let me go pick some up while they're like $9, $10 instead of like $30. So I did that and found the last 2 Blackhawks Bedard jerseys. So Toast, we lucked into that one, brother. So I got that waiting for you here in the basement. Titch, again, I'm sorry, man. How are you doing? Sorry about not getting you a jersey as well.
No worries, but that is a steal, man. $75 for a like replica. I would assume like authentic replica. The Fanatics.
It's authentic.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
oh my God! It's a $300 sweater.
Stitch, everything. Yeah, I know. I told Toast, I was like, it was originally like $250 or something. Then they had it on sale for like $150 at the store. I almost bought it. Like, I was there a week ago, and I was like, oh man. Came back to get some stuff we didn't get, and they had 2 left, and they were another 50% off because the store was like almost empty from like the week ago when we were there. We went and they had just like, it was like everything was pushed into little sections because it was almost completely empty. And I went over there, I saw a couple. I got my son like a $10 Blackhawks hooded sweatshirt that's usually like $50. I got it for like $10. So we were like going through stuff, just looking at sizes because they didn't have a ton of everything. So I was just trying to see if anything would fit anybody. And they had 2 XL red Bedard jerseys. And I took it up to the counter. I was like, are these even 50% off? They're like, yeah, everything's 50% off whatever's on the tag. So I got them for $75 a piece. I was super pumped.
Oh my God. You just don't hear deals like that. And I tell you what, you go up to the game. I don't know if either you made it to any Hawks games this year. It's been I saw the Oilers last year. It's kind of one of those things, just goals that I hope to make it back this year when Winnipeg's in town. I want to see the return of Taves and give him his respect. Toast, I know you were there when Patty Kane came back and and broke our hearts in OT. But you go to the Hawks store; those are 600, 650 easy all day at the stupid Hawks overpriced store. So what a deal! What a deal! That would be worth a drive. I mean, for me, I'm a little bit further from you guys, but that would have got me in the car and got me out that day. That's an awesome deal. Next time they flash sale those, hit me up, let me know. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, originally it said extra large on one and medium on another, and I'm like, I can't fit the medium. I'm like, Toast might be able to fit the medium.
Yeah,
and then I was
Toast
like,
could
texting
fit,
Toast. And then I was texting Toast, and my girlfriend looks at it. She goes, I think those are both extra larges. And it had the wrong tag on it. Like in the action jersey was both, because I held it up and I was like, man, that seems like a pretty big medium jersey. And she looked at it, because of course I didn't look at the tag like a total guy move. I just picked up and set it on the hanger. She's like, these are both extra larges. I was like, I thought that seemed kind of big for a medium, but I was like, all right, perfect. I was like, Toast, you're getting one, so we're in. So that's my story of the week for everybody join us that listening, and we will get to the fantasy hockey. Sorry about that. I had to bring that up. You don't get those finds very often, but hey, we are going to do the Eastern Conference tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off in the Atlantic. We're going to go here just kind of alphabetical order through the group. Anybody got any questions, feel free to jump in the comments, the chat, ask us stuff. You can always jump on, hit us up later on X with any kind of questions and things like that if we don't get them tonight. But feel free to jump in. Pretty open format tonight. So if you got any questions, even if it is about draft stuff and stuff we talked about last week, we'll be happy to jump back in and go over that again. But let's first jump in the Boston Bruins, a team, we talked about on the decline after being, tops of the league for a couple years in a row, a team trying to kind of rebuild, move some guys at the end of last year. What do we think about the Bruins here in the offseason, what they've done, and any moves we think maybe coming down the pipe or something they should be thinking about doing? As we know, Brad Marchand ended up at the Panthers, ended up winning a cup with them last year. What other moves and what other things have we seen for Boston here in the offseason?
Boy, I tell you what, it wasn't too great of an offseason for the Bruins, and maybe that was by design, where they have finally actually admitted that, they're going through what would actually be called a semi-rebuild, maybe a rebuild on the fly, which really those rebuilds on the fly, they don't usually work all that well. But Boston's actually got one advantage, and they're definitely a destination. I think we actually lost JT there, but he'll come back. And really, Aaron, I'll let you chat about it here as well. But in the offseason, they get Victor Arvidsson actually play on the second line with Pavel Zacha. And then they got Casey Middlestat in a trade with Charlie Coyle last year. He's going to be a third liner as well. And then honestly, Brad Marchand, right? Marchand actually does stay with Florida. He resigns with Florida. We'll talk about that here soon. But you just look at the team as a whole going into this 25-26 season, and there's not a whole lot to be excited about. You actually have a Geeky who's actually a really, really good young player going to be on the left wing. You got Pasta on the right wing, and you got Elias Lindholm actually going to be at center there. But then really after that, there's not a ton. I mean, you got a couple journeymen, and really, I was wanting to get your opinion, Aaron. Tanner, what are they doing? 5 years, 3.4 million AAV. I mean, for a third liner, the 3.4 is actually going to look pretty good or whatnot. But I mean, remember what Tampa Bay actually gave up to actually get him, and that didn't work out. And the fact that they could actually get rid of him was just absolutely amazing. Every single team in the NHL that's actually had him has given us way too much for him for a guy that's probably going to get 300 hits a season. Whether or not he doesn't do a whole lot. So just not really high on the Bruins, and you do wonder what's that going to do to David Pasternak's value moving forward, especially in redrafts.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, completely agree with everything you just said. I'll go a little harder on Jeannot. I think it was just a a baffling move. I mean, again, you get these guys that come in, and we kind of shit on them a little bit when we talked about the recap of the draft. They got Higgins at 7. Good news, Boston. And then July 1st comes around, and then they ruin it with a Janot signing. That again, and there's length to that term. I think it's a 4 or 5 year term. It might be 4, but so not only that, but is it 5? Yeah, even trying to give him an extra year. No, so it's a little bit baffling in terms of what they're doing, but I would say, well, yeah. So Janelle, first of all, not great. Arvidsson, I mean, he stunk in Edmonton, and he. I don't want to give up on it, but there's really nothing to be excited about. I'll leave Boston on a high note. I mean, they're going to miss the playoffs. I don't think they're going to probably call it retool, like you said, Toast, something like we see in St. Louis or something like that. I just don't see the success coming with this because Morgan Geekie, who again had a breakout year last year, 33 goals, but he was shooting at a 22%. 22% of his shots went in. There is got to be regression there. He's not going to break 30 goals, even if he plays line one, even if he plays with a guy like Pasta. I see regression there. Arvidsson, I didn't see anything from him. He certainly crapped the bed in the playoffs. Jeannot, don't like that signing. What I will leave though on with Boston as we move on. 2 guys I am looking forward to is Courtois on the wing. He's a right winger. Whether he's second line, third line, fourth line, we don't know. Who knows? And then Fraser Minton, who was a big grab from Toronto, moving up in the Toronto prospects. Probably not their number one guy. Number one guy is Easton Cohen, but in Toronto. But they did get their number 2 prospect, and that's Fraser Minton, who I'm excited to see what he can do. Hopefully, he gets the ice time. And that could be something exciting. That does he move into that second line center role? Probably not, but it'll be a reason to tune into Boston games. Other than that, they stink. Their defense is weakened. Swayman's going to let in 1 million goals like he did last year. I know he's got his paper, but it'd be hard pressed to really. If I have Swayman on a team. Dynasty team, I'm not as excited as I maybe have been in years past. And if I'm going into a redraft league, Swayman goes to very low tier for me. But whatever. I mean, I'm not a really big Boston fan, so I'm fine with this.
Let's move on to our next team, the Buffalo Sabres, a team that everyone keeps thinking is going to finally break out. It's like you look at the roster, guys, and you like what they got. You like a lot of the names. For fantasy, there's some nice guys in there, but it just seems like this team can't seem to put it together. Is this the year, with this Atlantic Division being so tough the last couple years, does Buffalo finally start putting it together here a little bit with some of these new players, or are we still thinking, hey, this team has got a long way to go?
Yeah, I mean, with Buffalo, well, straight up answer the question, no, they stink and they're going to stink and they're going to miss the playoffs for the 100th year in a row or whatever it's been, whatever this drought is. JJ Peterka he was pretty vocal. He didn't want to be there. He's traded. Not a bad return for him. I don't like Josh Doan. I'll be honest. I think he's a bit overrated, but I do like Kesselring. I think he'll fit in well there. Defense. Love Dahlin. Love Byram. Byram, they've filed salary arbitration. What that does is it protects them from getting offer sheeted, so they can negotiate with Bowen Byram, or they can trade him. He may be on the move before it ends up, but they did one good move. And again, trying to stay positive. Last point I make, I try to be positive. Not a whole lot of positivity coming out of Buffalo, but they did ink Jack Quinn. I've been a fan of him for a while. He was mid last year. He was kind of meh, but I think his minutes will improve with Peterka hitting the road, and that could be a good thing for those Jack Quinn fans. Let's see if he steps up. Dylan Cousins, big absence there. He was traded to Ottawa, so you are missing some of the bigger names, but Buffalo to me just seems like the AAA for all the other teams. Once these guys come out of the minors, they show they can play in the NHL. Somebody vultures them. So I don't know. Sorry, Buffalo. Cool sweater. Love the sweater. Hate to see this, but it's going to continue.
Yeah, and I'll add here a little bit as well, just real quick, JT. I know we're gonna need to do rapid fire on these. It's going to be very interesting if Josh Norris can actually stay healthy for this team. And most times or not, he can't stay healthy, right? But if he does on that second line, he ends up having a year like he did last year, where he actually played the entire season. And man, he was a ball of fire last year on that line with Tuck and then Quinn as well. And then you got a really formidable line there, the Jason Zucker, Ryan McLeod, who actually signed a 4-year, $5 million AAV, and then Josh Doan slotted for the third line. And that top line, Benson, Kulik centering, and Chase Thompson. I got some shares of Kulik. I'm going to be a 22-year-old this year and a really promising player. I think if Norris plays, let's say, 80 games this year, that they are actually going to be pretty darn good, considering they have Dowling and Byram there as well. They really like Kessel Ring. Hell, they got Owen Power as well, which JT and I actually traded in the Dynasty League and actually got. So they got a lot of pieces. I actually like them. You're right. They just can't make the playoffs. They're just. But from a fantasy perspective, I really like them. And if Josh Norris stays healthy, I even like him even better. So hopefully, Kulik actually can stay with Tage Thompson all year. And if you got shares of him, you're not looking too bad, especially in Dynasty Leagues.
I'm always a Jersey guy. Are we in agreement that the move back to the royal blue and yellow is a much better look for them than when they went to that black and red? Do you guys like the old school look better? I do. I personally like the blue and the yellow better.
Yeah.
Agree.
Sorry, I gotta throw that in there. I like the old school jersey so much more. Now we're moving on to my guys. Oh, I've had hopium for a while here. I'm trying to decide how much longer I can hold on to the Detroit Red Wings. The last 2 years, this team just felt like they were ready to make a move. The division has been brutal. I mean, the Atlantic has been really tough, and then the Metro on top of that has also been better than advertised the last couple years. It seemed like this was a playoff team. The streak continues as they missed the playoffs the last 2 years in brutal fashion 2 years ago. And then this last year, it's just, man, the last 2 seasons, the last month or so of the year, month and a half, they just fell apart. Have the Wings done enough? The goaltending's been a huge problem. We know that, Toast. It's an issue. It's been an issue. They would go out and they make a move. Is the move they made enough? Or Red Wings fans in for another year of just almost maybe, but then they miss the playoffs again?
I think they have put all their eggs in one basket here on John Gibson. And if you look at John Gibson's stats, why he's been with Anaheim, and man, why Anaheim's going through a really long and painful rebuild, and it appears that they're on their way coming out of that with all the young talent they actually have. And Joe Quenneville actually shown up there in town as well. You would think they're ready to go and are ready to win. Gibson was a workhorse. He got so many starts there. I want to say he got upwards of 60 starts this season, and maybe a little bit more with Anaheim over the past 5 years when they've just been really bad. And he's been hovering right above an average of 905, 906 save percentage every year. And in front of a team like that, that's pretty good. So I think that Yzerman's like, you know what? Maybe this is the missing piece here. He's 31 years old. He's got a lot of miles on him. But man, if they can shore up that goaltending, they got good defensemen with Sider, Sherratt, Edvinsson, young guy as well. Really, one big key is going to be is their second line center is going to play in between DeBrincat and Kane, and that's Marco Kasper. And Kasper came on last year with a very good season. 37 goals. 37 points in 77 games, 145 shots on goal, whopping 156 hits for the center as well. And this guy's only a 21-year-old, drafted 8th overall in a 2022 entry draft. So I'm going to be on the lookout for Marco Kasper. That'd be a guy in a redraft leagues I'd maybe try to get a share or two of late in drafts, especially in banger leagues with all those hits. And playing in between those guys, if he can stick there, man, if he can get any, he won't get power play time, but if he can get any power play time at all, that'd be amazing. And then Jonathan Berger and JT, you and I actually have him in our Black Aces League, our Dynasty League. That's a cap. and he just got signed for a 1 year, 1.8 million AAV, and they got him slotted on with Larkin and Raymond on line one. I mean, so obviously as the season goes on, a lot of this can change, right? They got James Van Riemdijk, old guy, actually to bring in. He could actually slot up to line one, but if Bergeron can actually hold that and actually play any more remotely, he's played spurts good at times, then that could actually be a real, really good pickup. But all in all, they were very quiet on the trade front. They were very quiet in signing. And in the end, they didn't do a whole lot to help themselves in the offseason.
Yeah. Does this feel like, Titch, does this feel like this is just a little bit of like, Eiserman's like, I've been building. I took a lot of these young guys, and now instead of making these big offseason moves, the move is let these young guys finally come up and play. Let them get experience. It seems like, with the Casper Evanson last year, some of these younger guys, Raymond has seen a ton of playing time here in the early part of his career. Do you think that's kind of feels like more of the strategy right now for the Red Wings?
100%. And I'll say this: I think there is an element of ego, like good or bad. Eiserman knows the game. He's built dynasty in Tampa Bay. He's done it. He's proved himself on the ice. He's proved himself in the locker room. The guy's proved himself over and over and over. This will be again another part of his I don't know, his resume, his legacy, whatever. This will be another, but yeah, I think so. Like, hey, these are my guys. These are the guys I drafted. These are guys I believe in, and I still know the game. I'm still relevant. So yeah, I think there is an element of that. That said, I think they're incredibly deep as is. I don't see them chasing. I don't see them overpaying. Trying to get this guy, that guy, the other guy. When I say they're deep, I mean offensively. Like the first first three lines are very good, and then they also too I know Toast ran through some of the pickups they had. One guy, Mason Appleton, coming out of Winnipeg, he's kind of that line three, line four shutdown type of guy, underrated guy, role player. I love that pickup. They address their goaltending. I like Gibson. Probably the best goalie that's gone through. The only question mark I'd have is probably that bottom pair of defense. Those guys are I don't know what to expect, and I don't even know who's going to play on that third line defense. That's my only real question with Detroit. All that said, and I know when we get closer to the season, we'll have our predictions. But I'm gonna say this right now: Detroit's got a spot in the playoffs this year. Whether it's Ottawa's spot or maybe it's probably not New Jersey's spot, but it might be one of those spots that maybe not the Caps. I don't know. It'll be one of those spots. I'll figure it out later. But I'm penciling in Detroit to make the playoffs this year. So there you go.
Yeah, is Gibson, a guy that feels like he's been in the league forever. I mean, forever. Yeah. But then you actually look it up, he's still in his early 30s, which for a goalie, we've learned is not actually a terrible age. This is when these guys kind of start getting good. So I have to say, am I totally drinking the Kool-Aid? I actually think Gibson was a good move. Originally, when they made it, I was like, really, Gibson? But then I went back and looked. I was like, he's not as old as I thought he was. I was like, he was on an absolutely horrible Anaheim team. And I remember me and Toast watching a lot of Anaheim last year, late night games betting. And I was like, man, Gibson's actually taking a million shots and he's actually looking okay. So I kind of feel like I wasn't initially loving the move as a Wingsman. And now I'm like kind of coming around. I'm like, ooh, if he can just be just a little bit better than the guys they've had the last 2 years, this team is right there, especially with these young guys just getting a little bit older, get a little more advanced. I feel like this team, I know we've said it every year. I feel like every year on the show we say it, but I feel like they're in position. This should be a playoff team, I feel like. It should be, even though this East has been stacked. I don't think it's quite as heavy stacked as it has been the last couple of years with Boston and some of these other teams, Pittsburgh, kind of coming down back to earth. This team, it feels like this is the year, boys. Wings back in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, if John Gibson gets 55 starts, I'll say they're in the playoffs. Because if they get that stability with a legit goaltender, and he's not world class, but he's good and he's actually very reliable. If he can get 55 starts and actually stay healthy, I like them in the playoffs, and we've been saying it for the last couple of years. It's a playoff team, and they really are. They're really good. They got lots of offensive firepower. So again, Marco Casper will be really key if he can actually play and stick in that second line in between those guys and actually be productive. And that second line can actually just hum there with him and DeBrincat and Kane. I mean, and you saw how Raymond was just lights out last year. He was lights out last year. Health will be key, like it is with many NHL teams. But if Gibson can make 55 starts, I like him.
We got to be right one of these years. We keep putting them in the playoffs. Exactly. We got to be right one of these years.
It's got to come through eventually. Now let's move on to the back-to-back champions, Florida Panthers. Unbelievable. A team that I know we liked 2 years ago. We liked them last year, but I guess the question we all had was, did this team go too far, too hard? I mean, looked like they put it all out there the year before. They came out a little slow last year, as you could tell. It definitely looked like a team that had tired legs and were still trying to recover. They turned it on down the stretch. I know deep down, Aaron, I also was rooting for them, the Oilers, since the Panthers had won the year before. So that was a little bit of disappointment. I did have a little money on both the Oilers and the Panthers, so I did hit there. So I was happy with that. Hit one of my last hockey bet of the year, so that was great. But this Florida team, does this team have a shot to jump, like to just keep making it? Dude, can this team keep pushing? Can they make a third run at it?
Yeah. Yes. The short answer is yes. The long answer is I also think they won free agency by just simply resigning their team. They had the cap room. I remember when the playoffs first kicked off, I thought, I just happened to glance at Puckpedia or one of the sites that tracks the salary cap. I'm thinking, well, maybe this will be it for the Panthers. Let's see what they got, because I knew Marshy was free agent. I knew Bennett was a free agent, so I'm like, okay, this could be the last run for these guys. Oh no, they had about 23 million on the books or in cap room, and sure enough, they signed all their guys. So short answer, no. I think they're a contender. They're going to always be a contender. It doesn't matter if they win their division. It doesn't matter if they get dead last. They're going to fill a couple gaps with the guys they got in the pipeline. I don't think Evan Rodriguez is re-signed. Who cares? They got somebody waiting in the wings that can take his spot. Defense is outstanding. And Bob Bobrovsky. Bob is incredible in that, especially at playoff time. So no, and it's funny, we said, okay, Detroit in, whatever. Does it matter in the East? Like, Florida's coming out of the East, so who cares? Like, just let's fast forward to the playoffs and see if anybody can knock them off. But now they'll go three for three. They'll win the cup again.
Yeah, and
what do you think,
Aaron,
Toast?
I'll add to that. You're witnessing three cup appearances in a row, 2 back-to-back. This is going to be one of the greatest dynasties you ever see, and mainly because somehow, some way, they figured out exactly how to fit all of this great talent in their core within the cap long term. Barkov, another 5 years. Kachuk, another 5 years. Reinhart, another 8 years. Bennett, I'm sorry, another 7 years. Bennett, another 8 years. Verhaeghe, another 7 years. Marchand, they overpaid him. Who cares? They gave him too much term. 6 years at 5.25. They don't care because it makes no difference. Lundell, 5 more years. Seth Jones, 5 more years. Ekblad, 6 more years. Forsling, 7 more years. Bobrovsky is the only question mark coming up here, and they're actually up on the cap. What will they actually do? But $10 million comes off the cap. And everybody's going to want to play for them with a tax benefit. And also that their window is now. They'll have no problem getting a top-end goaltender for a good price if they want to, especially through trade. They are set up, man, long-term to the point where it's just like they ain't losing anybody at all forever. So, and they've got this whole cap thing figured out. I mean, you are going to see, in my opinion, one of the greatest dynasties in the history of the league if this continues. And on paper, it should continue. Injuries would be the only thing that holds them back.
Let's move on to another up and coming team here, the Montreal Canadiens. Another team that kind of, they've been building for a while. Younger guys have fantasy wise, they've had some real exciting players on this team. They're finally starting to put it together a little bit. This team started competing at the end of last year. I know we got in a lot of games, and betting wise, we were jumping on the Canadians a lot down the stretch as they were playing pretty.
Yeah, poor JT just keeps getting kicked out there. But we'll pick up the slack here, Aaron. How about that?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting kicked here. I'm just trying to stay with you guys.
Well, as far as Montreal goes, I mean, they are a fun team to watch, like JT alluded to before we lost the internet connection here. It's they're a bit small, a bit scrappy. Did obviously make the playoffs, got bounced pretty early, but they've got some. I love the Bolduc move, getting him.
Yes.
They traded Logan Malou, but the reason why they had the excess defenseman, like who trades a defenseman for a 20 goal, actually 20 goals, that's pretty good because it was Bolduc's rookie year, but the getting or trading an asset like Malou, which I think he'll be a very talented puck moving player, something that unfortunately my arch rival St. Louis Blues will they gained tremendously with this trade as well. I think that with Noah Dobson coming in and Lane Hudson, Noah Dobson, back there just walking that blue line, it's going to be pretty fun to watch. Questionable if they make the playoffs, and of course Demidov, the phenom who had a great start last year. They brought him over from Russia, had a good debut. Shows that he can play the game. I think that it'll be a lot of fun to watch him. I'm certainly going to tune into as many Montreal Canadian games as I can. Little on the, like I said, little on the smaller side. You get Suzuki, Caulfield, even Demidov to some degree, but then you got some bigger guys, Slavkovsky. You've got Patrick Laine, so they have added some size, and again, I'm a big fan of their defensive core. Caden Gooley, defensive defenseman, again with Noah Dobson, offensively gifted. Lane Hudson set the world on fire by a walkaway Calder win. Struble, Carrier, Matheson, who was a long time the 1-1 defenseman, is now all of a sudden on your third pairing. So a lot to be excited for in Montreal. I love the city. I've never been there. I'd love to go. Love the fans. The fans are fun. They know the game. They cheer for penalty kills. It's a good product. It's the hockey town of the entire world. Excited for Montreal. My heart's going to want them in the playoffs. My head tells me, they're still a fringe team, but man, I hope they make it. I love watching them.
JT, two things I'll say about Montreal. One, I agree with Aaron. Their defensive core, man, they got to be a top 5 or 6 grouping in the entire league. And from a fantasy perspective, they are as well. I mean, Matheson being down there on the third line. Carrier, we actually know what he can actually do, especially in a bangers league as well. They get Dobson. Will it be Dobson? Will it be Lane Hudson, right, on that first power play? Or would it be both of them? They could go both, which maybe they will before doing that. But I've been harping on second line centers all night so far, and that's the key to the teams here. Kirby Dach's been in the league long enough, and if he's actually going to play that 2C and actually have a Patrick Laine, who again, can he stay healthy for an entire season? Probably not. Can Kirby Dach stay healthy for an entire season? Probably not. But Ivan Demidov's actually being on that line as well with Laine, Dach, and Demidov. It has the makings there to be special. And if they can all stay healthy, which is a big if, but if they could, you got to love Kirby Dach, who will probably go undrafted in most redraft leagues. And if he actually goes, that's a guy you want to take a flyer on late because he'll actually throw his body around. He'll actually hit. He's a big guy as well. And to have the ability to have those guys on that line too, and he'll probably get some power play 2 time, really good. I think a steal and a lot of drafts is a Nick Suzuki. Nick Suzuki kind of flies under the radar, but he is an assist machine. He's your typical 30 goal scorer, 45 to 50 assist guy, for your point per game type of player. And I think that this is he hasn't played with this type of talent for an entire season in his career. I mean, so I really like what they're doing. And the Zach Bullock move was amazing. Actually, that was a great pick because considering they're giving up Malou, like you said, a great asset, but they don't need him. They don't need him, how deep they are in defense. So it worked out great for everybody.
We lost JT again.
Well, Aaron, who's the next team up? I'm actually going to look at my teams here.
Well, I'm going to hand it to you because it's your second favorite. It's the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Ottawa. I won't talk off the top of my head here as far as trades and off-season moves, other to say that basically they did a whole lot during season last year. You got to love this team's offensive ability, with Brady Tkachuk and Stützle, and then Fabian Zetterlund's a guy who I really like to get a lot of shares of. I actually have him in 2 of my 4 leagues that I'm actually in, and Zetterlund's a guy who's going to hit. He's a big guy, younger. I think that he's probably a guy that can get you 25 goals, 25 assists, maybe 50 points. He's probably going to get you 150 hits this season as well, maybe a little bit more. And he's going to get good deployment. Right now, he's actually slated to actually take over on first line 1. And in line 2, man, you got to love with Perron and Cousins. What a great trade for Ottawa last year. I'm sorry, but I actually love the fact they got Dylan Cousins, and Cousins is putting him with Drake Batherson. And then you even get Shane Pinto and Claude Giroux actually on line 3, and Ridley Gregg's another guy I got shares of. Ridley Gregg is a guy, again, you want to get late in a bangers league. He's actually going to get you plenty of hits. He's young, 22 years old, especially in a cap league. He's really good as well. And then you and I were talking earlier about Jake Sanderson and his worth there, and then Tomas Shabbat. So Shabbat's going to actually, we know he's going to line power play 1. And we actually know Sanderson's going to be the backup on power play 2. But again, this is going to be a high offensive, juggernaut of a team, in my opinion. I just think I've been saying it. You guys know I have. I will say it, and I'll continue to say it, and how good they actually are. It's going to come down. Hey, Linus Olmark's a pretty good goalie, guys. So Olmark last year, 25 and 14 and 1 with a 272 and a 909. To me, Ottawa's got all the pieces. Other than the fact they don't have the experience, they don't have the playoff experience, they don't actually have that experience as a team. But man, as far as young talent on a team, they're as good as anybody, young talent. So I can't actually wait to see. I'm going to get plenty of shares of a lot of Ottawa players just because I think they're going to put up a crap ton of points.
Yeah, I agree. Again, one of those things where we're complete lockstep here. Like you said, all their moves were done last year, pre-deadline. The Dylan Cousins move being the standout to me. I'm a huge fan of Dylan Cousins. Loved him in Buffalo. Can't wait to see what he can do with a full year in Ottawa. Knows the system a little bit more. Like what we saw to Shane Pinto last year. He can only improve. You talked about Ridley Gregg. I think he's just a sandpaper type player. He's like a, no pun intended here, but he's like one of the Kachuk brothers. He'll kind of get in the hard spaces. He'll go dig a puck out of the corner, and then he'll take a slap shot on an empty net just to rile up the other team. So love seeing that fire. Nick Cousins, another huge piece of shit that gets the other teams going. So you can never have too few pieces of shit on your team. That they're few and far between. And again, you got maybe arguably the number one at you already talked about him too, Perron. That's just whatever team he goes on, he just acts like a big dick out there. But the only question mark I'd say is kind of bottom end defense. Again, you called out the bigger names. Love Jake Sanderson. I think he's a clear tier, probably 2 or 3 defenseman at his ceiling, which he may hit this year. Had an awesome year last year. Love Shabbat. Nick Jensen, it's one of those names you don't hear much of. He's a shutdown defenseman. Tyler Cleven's a giant. He played last year. Jordan Spence, he came over from LA. Let's see what he does. I think the guy sucks, but Olmark finally put it into the goalie carousel. It seemed like every now and then Ottawa was just, marching somebody else out to see, hey, does this guy work? Does this guy work? Does this guy work? Well, Olmark put it into that. They do have some other goalies in the pipeline that could come in for that and compete for that number 2 spot. We'll see, but yeah, I like, the more I'm thinking about it now, the more I like Ottawa for that, for another playoff spot that they did clinch last year, and it was fun to watch them. It was short lived, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
you getting
like
swept. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe. I trust you guys. I love this team to watch just because of the offense, and I love betting on them. And fantasy wise, I just think they're a super fun team to watch. Fantasy wise, I know me and Toast, Aaron, we like to pull them up late night games on the West Coast. Another one of those teams that we like to watch a lot of. Fan of watching Ottawa. Just a lot of young talent on that team. Aaron, what do you think about Tampa Bay? The Lightning, a team up and down last year, still got some studs on that team. Made some moves last season. Is this a team that's still in the mix, or is this a team kind of starting to regress a little bit?
I had them out last year. God, was I wrong, because they really came on, and yeah, they were bounced early, but they went against the juggernaut Florida. I'm going to be torn. It's going to be one of my fringe teams for sure. Every time I count them out, they prove me wrong. I love Cooper, the head coach there. He seems to be the coach that everybody wants. He coached Canada to the win at Four Nations. And how can you lose or be a loser or not make the playoffs when your line one is Gensel, Point, and Kucherov? I mean, that's what an elite line one. Um, so yeah, for me, it's a fringe team, kind of quiet. I think they took a couple of guys from Toronto, Holmberg and Abruzzese, I think. Got a couple of some cast off guys that maybe didn't have a spot in Toronto. Whatever, Toronto's a mess, but boy, I don't know. It's to be determined. I would say a kind of mid off season, mid draft. I don't know much about some of the guys they took, but they always seem to make some noise. So we'll see. Jury's out on Tampa.
Yeah, and the two of the trades they actually, or the moves they actually got was Borstrand and get back Yanni Gord.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, besides that, quite frankly, they didn't do a ton. There was a very, very quiet offseason as well. This is a team that's strapped against the cap. They got some aging players as well, but they actually have some young talent to go with that. But their core is probably on the average of 31, 32 years old. I mean, but man, from a fantasy perspective, they're going to do it. They're always actually going to be great. I mean, you can not actually go wrong with a Gensel, Point, and Kucherov there on line one. And then you end up having a Hedman there to be on that power play as well. And you throw in a Cirelli, right? So it'd be like Cirelli. They always like to figure out who that fifth guy is actually going to be. And I'd say Yanni Gord, when he was actually there, he actually played a lot of power play one. So kind of have to see what they actually do there. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very top heavy team and good for fantasy, but not very deep.
Toast, what do you think about Toronto Maple Leafs? A team that, the Toronto fan base just keeps suffering and suffering. Okay, finally, take that next step, and it just doesn't have another team that has struggled to find solid goaltending. They've got one of my favorite guys, William Nylander. I love Nylander on this team. You got him and Matthews, obviously two of the big dogs. What else are we looking at? Who else can we maybe possibly pick up, or as a sneaky guy fantasy wise for Toronto?
Yeah, so they lose Mitch Marner. Marner actually goes. We'll have to talk about Marner next week when we actually cover the Western Conference, heading over to the Vegas Golden Knights. But losing Marner is actually a big deal. So now you actually have a top line of like Nyes and Matthews, and they're maybe throwing a veteran in there like Max Domi, and then Tavares, Nylander, and then I do like the pickup there. They actually signed Matthias Michelli. I was a really big fan of Michelli back when the Utah. What are they now? The Mammoth? Is that what they are? The Mammoth?
Yep.
Yeah, I liked when they were
the
the Arizona Coyotes. Man, I liked Michelli actually coming up. Yeah, exactly. It should be the Yeti. So from a fantasy perspective, you know actually who the usual suspects are. You're going to get Austin Matthews in the first 5 or 6 picks of the draft. Nylander is going to be a top 11 or 12, 13 pick there as well, any type of redraft as well. Matthew Nyes will be a guy from a dynasty perspective that you actually hope you have your hands on. I actually have him in one of my leagues that is it's a cats league, and I end up getting a Nyes in an inaugural draft 2 years ago, and man, did that actually work out well for me. But I think Matthias Michelli, he is a wild card. And I'm going to look at Michelli here real quick, and I just want to discuss real quick what he's actually done as a player, because his stats may not just jump off the page at you, okay? But I do think this guy actually has a whole lot of talent. Let me look at it here. Here he is, Michelli. Matthias Michelli, 24 years old, drafted 2019, 98th overall. He's basically here's what I like in Arizona for the 22-23 season: 11 goals, 38 assists for 49 points in 64 games. Then 23-24, 57 points in 82 games. And these are not good teams in Arizona, right? And then last year fell on hard times. 18 points in 55 games, injured a little bit. That time on ice went way down to 1344. Only shot 9.3%. His actually career average is actually more so closer to 12. This is a guy I think playing around a talent he's actually going to play is another guy I'm targeting. I'm going to target in drafts. He's a left wing eligible. Again, cap league. I mean, he's probably making $4 million a season, whatnot. I don't know. A great addition to the cap league. I think he'll get decent deployment. Go out and actually look for a guy like that.
Yeah. I'll start off with Michelli, and I'm going to say he's probably going to show up on every sleeper. I don't care where you subscribe, where you get your fantasy information. Hopefully from here, because this you can't lose. I mean, you got champions everywhere you look. You got three bubbles of champions here. So listen to us. But Michelli's going to be on every sleeper, on every graph or everywhere you look. That said, I think Austin Matthews is hurt by this. You lose Mitch Marner, one of the top 5 passers that's present day NHL. I put him right there with Eichel and probably Barkov, and Marner's right there. So you're losing him. Willie Stiles is going to do what he does. He's going to get his 40, 50 goals, whatever. I do like, at least they didn't get nothing from Marner. I do like the Nicholas Roy, good third line guy. Scott Lawton is my boy. He's third, fourth line guy. The thing about Toronto that we haven't seen for a while, they're solid defensively. They have a good from line 1 through line 3, a good 6 defensemen there, solid. They haven't seen that for many years. Usually, again, it's a carousel. Last thing to mention here is the goalies. Now that continues to be on a carousel, mostly due to health. I like what we saw out of Joseph Wall. Stolat's the Florida cast stuff. Stollers, yeah. Sorry, maybe he gets the nod. I think he'll get the start if he's healthy. So some question mark there. Overall, it's an easy playoff team, but they don't make it past the first round, and this curse continues. But yeah, we'll see. Fantasy, hugely impactful team, and again with Michelli, that's your sleeper.
This might be a crazy idea, but with Marner gone, if there ever was a window,
JT, we got you there. Do we actually wrap up the Atlantic?
This is where we're getting to the Atlantic here. Yeah, wrapping up. I was going to say just a little quick as we wrap
JT
up the Atlantic
again. He's had a rough night.
I'm kind of jumping in and out. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, my internet is wild tonight. Is dynasty wise? Is this maybe a time you move Matthews with no Marner? If you got somebody that loves him, do you pull a trigger or do you say, nah, it doesn't matter. He's still going to be a stud. I'm not worried about it. I'm keeping all my.
Yeah, he's would you guys move a generational scorer.
He'll be fine.
So 27 years old, Austin Matthews ain't going nowhere, and there should be no way that you'd actually, rid him off your team. He is a mainstay in your team, and as long as you actually have him, be no reason to actually not actually have him. And a guy that's going to get you 4 shots a game as well, right? So, no, definitely not. I don't see any production slip from him at all. I do think this hurts their team from a playoff perspective, but from a fantasy perspective, no hit at all. And you mentioned it, Aaron. Uh, Nicholas Roy. We'll actually have to watch Nick Roy. Bobby McMahon and Nick Robertson, and Robertson came on, had him and McMahon actually together. They were hot there for a while on each other's line and stuff. That's a really good third line, like a real good third line. So they're still deep. Michelli, like you said, man, he's a wild card in all of this, and maybe it's just because he's young and everybody like he's Max Domi's got great deployment as well, right? So, no. To answer your question, JT, do not actually sell shares from Austin Matthews. He's going to stay on everybody's roster.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. I just want to get that one out there for a few people. Let's move on to the other news. Let's go to Metro Carolina. Let's talk about them. The Hurricanes. Oh. What are we seeing from them? This is a team that's kind of been in transition with some trades, some moves last season. What are we looking at with Carolina? Where are they kind of sitting now after all kind of the craziness last year with a lot of the moves and everything that happened?
I think right out of the gate, I think this is your winner of the free agency this so far. A couple of moves of note. Just 2 players I'll shout out real quick here. But Ehlers, after Marner was basically not in the free agent in a very thin, and we've talked about this before too. The free agent market was a bit thin this year. It'll be very heavy next year. Completely different discussion next year. But Ehlers was a guy to go out and grab. They got him. They signed him. Stankoven was great, played really well. You've got a lot of deep talent on this team, but the Keandre Miller, they paid a heavy price, first, second round, and I think a prospect, Morrow, whatever his name is. They paid a lot for him, but he's defensive defenseman. He has shown offensive flair too. So the guy, I'm a fan. I like him. I think he had a rough time in New York, just didn't, whatever it was. But I think he'll fit into this man-on-man defense that Carolina is like the only team that does this, but they just will not get away from everybody else's zone. I think he'll fit well in that system. That's why they targeted him. That's why they got him. So I'm very impressed with it. And then you've got Nikishin on the kid, Alex Nikishin. He's the rookie Russian, of course. How do you not have this guy, Katos? But anyway, he'll end up on your team. I have a feeling.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Carolina, they've been a staple in the playoffs. They'll continue. Whether they go anywhere, probably not, because Florida's still out there. But I like it. Hats off to them. They're making moves. They're trying.
Yeah, and they signed a Nikolai Ehlers, like you said. Ehlers a big signing, man.
Right.
And him and Ahu and Svechnikov, Stankoven, and then Seth Jarvis. There's your core right there. And
love it,
man. I think Keandre Miller is really going to fit in well from a Bangers perspective. He was already a guy 107 hits last year, 110 blocks. I think that only goes up on a team like Carolina. And that's their brand of hockey, man. If they can actually, average, 3.5 goals per game for the entire season, and maybe knock on the door 4, but probably not. And they got offensive firepower. They really do, but they prefer to play that type of slower game and to really just grind it out and actually beat you up a little bit as well. That's where a guy like Miller can be really, really valuable, and especially he won't get any power play time probably. Definitely with. I'm actually just looking at here, the Ghost, right? Gossesfair. He's probably slated to actually get that. Sean Walker, who actually came over from the LA Kings a couple years ago as well. So they got a lot of guys on defense to actually move the puck. And Miller's a huge guy, huge man. And he'll shoot the puck, right? 110 shots on goal, 74 games played, not a ton. My guess is he's there to hit, block, actually do all the dirty work. And on a team like Carolina, that's a guy you actually want. And in Bangers League, man, this guy's probably going to be a top 10 to 12 defenseman in most banger formats.
Great.
What do we think about the Columbus Blue Jackets? They're a team that
Looks like JT's
brought
still
some
spinning here.
excitement last
So
year.
moving right along, we got Columbus Blue Jackets, who I know we caught. They caught fire. Everybody was wrapped up in them. Johnny Gaudreau, everything that how the community, collective NHL community, kind of came together. Awesome memorials all throughout the season. It continues with the draft, with having Meredith come out and make the picks for Columbus this year, although I wasn't really impressed with their picks. However, that said, it's so fun to watch these guys. I'm really excited about them. Again, I kind of talked about, well, my heart says this, my head says this. My heart's all in when it comes to Columbus. I hope these guys can do it. Love Fantilli, love Monahan, Marchenko, Kent Johnson, that's my boy. I hope he just gets a million goals. I've kind of taken an investment approach to him, especially with the hockey card market. So that's my guy. As long as everybody progresses, I think the addition of Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood, good moves there as well. The only thing that I do not like, I don't really like the depth on defense. I like top line defense is good. Provorov stuck around. They kept him. Wawrinski had a career year. I hope Jet Greaves has the net day one. It should be Jet Greaves. He's proven himself. Elvis is so unpredictable. You get a really good Merzlikins one game. You get a really bad, like me and net type of guy the next night. Too unpredictable, too crazy. Jet Greaves played very well, very consistent. Not the tallest guy either. He's kind of a throwback. I think he might be just at 6 feet. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm going to have to take some time. Again, another French team. My God, I hope they make it. They're fun to watch.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Aaron, there's no way I'm letting you actually steal my thunder on my team here. I tell you. So Blackhawks, Senators, and I've been saying it, Columbus. Those are my three teams, man. And if I wasn't a Hawks fan, it'd be no problem to be a Columbus Blue Jackets fan. They're not that far away here from Central Illinois. JT, like we said, you got the cousin lives over there. We've been talking about going to a game. It hasn't worked out. Need to make that happen, man. They got all the Russians on their team as well. I try to get almost all of them on my team. But, man, they're in great shape. They got $15 million in cap space with everybody signed underneath contract this year. They got all of their first rounders for the next 3 seasons as well. Next year, they got a first rounder. They got 2 third rounders. They got 2 fourth rounders. I mean, future's actually looking bright for them. It ends up being where, here's the deal. If you're actually looking for Kent Johnson, I picked him up off of waivers last year in our Dynasty League, our home league. He's not going to hit and block a whole lot for you, but, man, he's just starting to come out. And then look at that line, too, with Voronkov, who'd actually just signed the contract. Fantilli, Kent Johnson as well. And I tell you what, another guy that, JT, you and I actually have on a Dynasty League, man, is Chinakhov. Igor Chinakhov. Chinakhov's going to be a player. We've already had Stripe come after us like 3 different times wanting Chinakhov. I'm like, no, he's not available. 24 years old, Russian left wing, right wing eligible as well. On the last year of the $2.1 million AAV, they're going to have some guys assigned next year. Coyle's a 1-year deal. He's a rental. 33 years old. It's just to get him over the hump, a little bit of leadership. Boone Jenner's on the last year of his deal, aging guy there as well. He is the captain of that team. Cole Sillinger, only 22 years old, coming up as an RFA. Chinakhov is an RFA as well. Fantilli's an RFA. So they're going to actually blow through that $15 million in cap space. And then, man, Zach Werenski. He had a career year last year. I mean, he can't duplicate. I don't think he can duplicate what he did last year, can he? I mean, 82 points in 81 games, 23 goals, 59 assists. I mean, 26 minutes and 45 seconds time on ice. I think that actually was second in the league all around. I mean, I have him in our home league as well, and he was just absolutely dominant. I can't say enough good things about this team. Love this team, man. I mean, JT, if you're actually looking for any jerseys to come across, any Columbus jerseys, I want a Marchenko jersey, or I want a Chinakhov jersey, or a Voronkov jersey, one or the other. I don't care. Give me a Russian.
Yeah, I love it. Tosa's like, I'll take one of the Russians. I tell you what, the Stadium Series, when I went to that game last year against the Wings, the crowd was amazing. The turnout was amazing. I mean, that Columbus fan group does it right. They were great, man. I easily could be a fan of them. Like I said, my cousin's a huge fan, lives there in Columbus, has been there for ever 20 some years. Just a great crowd, great fan base, and I'm going to keep an eye out for one of those Stadium Series jerseys. Those were pretty sweet that they had last year just for that game. So I'll keep an eye on that for you, Toes. If I can find one and get a Russian
Oh,
on there, I will.
well, and the cannon they shoot off, and their jerseys are sweet, man, with the kind of semi-American flag there going on as well. And it's a all around great. And I think we can get down there close to the glass there, pretty darn cheap.
Yeah, we definitely got to set that up this year. It just didn't work out last year. We tried to get you guys a
Yep.
Stadium Series, didn't work out with the schedules. We're gonna have to go a little earlier in the year, a little earlier in the season, if we can do it again. But let's move on to the next team, New Jersey Devils. Guys, this was a team that felt like you just saw all kinds of talent on here. We felt really good about this team, a couple years ago where they were headed, and it just seems like this team continues to disappoint. Injury issues seem to be a problem for this team, especially fantasy wise. I know because I've got quite a few these guys on my teams, and when they play, they're really nice fantasy wise, but when they're hurt, it kills you. Where are we thinking about where the Devils currently sit?
Had a couple nice signings. When I say nice signings, mainly just fillers, but I think good fillers, guys that are going to be third liners that are really going to round out your roster. And really, Jack Hughes being hurt last year hurt a ton. Obviously, I mean, he's a top 15 player in the entire league from a fantasy perspective as well. I mean, JT, you and I know we got shares of the guy. I have shares of the guy in my home league as well. So they bring in Connor Brown. It was impressive enough, I guess, what he actually did in the playoff run with Edmonton, where they actually liked him. They signed him to a really friendly deal, 4 years, $3 million. I think you're going to like that because Brown's always going to be a third liner. He's never going to be more than that. He's never going to be a first or second liner. Was actually doing with Edmonton. You sign a third liner quality guy. It's actually been around the block for a bit, plays the right wing, and you get him at $3 million a year with the cap going up the way it's actually going up. That's a really, really good deal. I like that contract they actually signed with him. And same thing, hey, Evgeny Dadonov as well. You get him he's 36 years old, and he actually has a really, really good season with Dallas. Now, this isn't a Dallas team, but they're not that far off. $1 million contract. I mean, tell me they didn't tell him, hey, we're going to go ahead and play you in the top 6 somewhere potentially, and you're going to get a chance to play with Jack Hughes, and you can do it for $1 million. I mean, that had to have been the sell, right? Can Paul Cotter actually come back and duplicate what he did last year as well? Cotter, 25 years old last year. I'd say he actually did a ton, but honestly, 22 points in 79 games, only 1305. And I'll tell you, he actually has some big goals. He actually really does well in the hit category, does a lot of the peripherals very, very well. I kind of like Cotter. I think he's going to take a next step. He's pretty young as well, and get him at the league minimum. So this is a team where they didn't do a ton in the offseason, but I think they got depth pieces. I think this is a health. If they stay healthy, they're going to be in good shape.
And this again is one of my fringe teams here. Easy to
go ahead, Aaron.
But yeah, I mean it's my fringe team, but they're headed the other way in terms of like an up and comer like Columbus that we just talked about. Um, I'm just going to stick with what I don't like. I agree with you everything you say about the forwards. I think a solid forward team. Connor Brown addition was nice. Dadenoff, those are nice final pieces. But your number one defense, Dougie Hamilton, he's just made of glass. I'm just so sick of this guy. He's on the IR all the time. Every year it's something. The Jack Hughes injury was fluke. Luke Hughes injury. I don't know what that was all about. Like, do we need to look at maybe the training staff here? Like, what's going on in all these New Jersey injuries? Are they all flukes? Are they all random? Or we got something with our conditioning? I don't know, but I just see them on the way down. Yeah, maybe they clinch a spot. They kind of get in that mix, but as far as contenders, I just don't see it with what we've got right now, and I can't stand Dougie Hamilton. So that's all I got on these guys.
Stephen Nason.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the guys, and Toast brought him up, that I have in our home league was really nice for me was Jasper Bratt. I mean, the guy hits. And so if you're looking for a guy maybe down the line that is possible in a bangers league, he's a nice pickup. 245 hits last year for him, and a guy that can also give you some points, so he can score a little bit too. So Bratt was a nice pickup for me. Really liked him. I really wish Nico Herzog would stay healthy because, man,
Yeah, poor JT. He's just
I know
a hard go.
He's got a cloud over there hanging over the house.
But he hit it on the head with Hughes and Heischer and Hamilton. Those have been the three guys who have been injury prone, and they can't afford that because Hughes and Heischer, they're centers up the middle. And from a fantasy perspective, man, they're huge. They're huge. I think he actually had a little bit off there what he actually said regarding the hits on Jesper Bratt. Now he does hit, it's not that much, but Bratt's awesome. I love Jesper Bratt. I think Palat's actually a good pickup later in drafts as well. If you actually want to get a guy with very, very good deployment, as he actually come from a lot of winning situations in the past, and then actually being with New Jersey now, I like Palat a lot. The key will be a Stephen Nason. Can Nason actually repeat what he did last year with 22 goals and 19 assists, 41 points in 78 games, so shooting 13.3% and actually getting 16 minutes times on ice? He's never done that before, and actually nowhere close to actually doing that before. But here's the deal: younger guy. Older guy. But isn't that crazy? Older guy, but if you look at his last 3 years of production, best 3 years of production is an entire career with Carolina and New Jersey. So Nason's worth a flyer, but I like Palat as a flyer a little bit better, and he'll probably end up getting some power play time as well. It wouldn't surprise me with an injury here and there. Palat would be on the top line for power play.
hits on that. I was meaning Paul Cotter. That was my mistake on Brad. I was meaning Cotter is a guy that can get you in a bangers league way down if you're looking someone just to fill in some spots that can get you some points.
Yeah, he's cursed.
I know.
But who we actually have next, Aaron? I keep asking you because I don't actually.
I got the alphabetically here. We got the Islanders next. This one's a quick one. In my opinion, I not a whole lot to watch. They had an awesome draft this year. A lot of these guys we're not going to see for a couple of years. Maybe we see Schaefer at some point this year, maybe not. I don't know. There's some gamesmanship when you bring a guy on and how how that affects or impacts his rookie contract and all that kind of administrative stuff. So maybe we'll see him. Maybe we won't. He had an awesome interview today on Spit and Chicklets. He seems like a really well-rounded, grounded kid, funny kid. He was chirping the guys. So I'm excited to see him. When he comes up, I'll start watching Islander games. Until that happens, I'm not going to watch these bozos. I think they're boring. I think they play a boring style. I like Patty Waugh. I like Barzal. But I just don't see a whole lot of value. Definitely a miss on the playoffs. Beyond that, haven't done a whole lot. Again, they had an outstanding draft. Hats off there, but off season, it's why waste moves? Why waste money? Certainly don't get anybody to turn because they're complete rebuilds. So whatever. Change the channel when they come on. Watch next year when Schaefer starts or
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And maybe Bo Horvat.
Yeah.
Again, we know what Horvat can do, but hey, Horvat's nothing special. He shoots the puck an absolute ton. If that's the best they actually have to offer, and he's going to be playing with Jonathan Drouin and Kyle Palmieri. Again, not awful players, but just not real good players either. So this shouldn't actually be a team that's really good. I feel like they've taken a step backwards. And a couple years ago, I really liked what they were doing. And they were starting to actually have more offense and stuff. But you're right, man. They killed the draft. They really did. So it's going to take a couple years for them guys to get in. I do actually have some shares of Anders Lee. 35 years old. He's actually still, again, one of their options. They don't have many options. So with Lee and Horvat and Palmieri, those are their main, and Barzal, those are the main guys going to score the puck. Nobody else is really going to score much. And Duclair, we know him, like he's either going to be traded, like he's traded every year, or he's going to be hurt. I mean, that's just typical for him. So, not a lot of shares going around with this team, but you're right. We could probably spend a little bit more time on another team, have a little bit more fun.
Yeah, and that next team we got on. Oh,
yep. Go ahead, Aaron.
Look, we got the Rangers next. So another team from New York, the sister team there, and I'm going to start this kind of where I started the last one. Not a whole lot to look at here. Kind of quiet, other than the Keandre Miller, which I like the trade from New York as well. They got a lot of picks. I think they got a good return for Keandre Miller, a guy that was questionable fitting into their system. So good on them. It's a move for the future. Will Cooley was a breakout rookie last year. He was fun to watch. Brendan Othman could have some potential here. I don't know that he'll crack the starting lineup day one or out of camp. We'll see. It's a guy to keep an eye on. And again, one of those sleeper picks in the deeper leagues, dynasty leagues. Brendan Othman should be as advertised. Maybe a line two type of guy or a secondary power play type of guy, shoot first type of attitude. Will Cooley, the only thing I'll say about Will Cooley, change that number. I cannot stand number 50. It just looks like a slow number. I mean, it's
like a center. It's a center on a football team. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah. It is. That's a training camp number. That's a center on a football team. Heck, a high school football team. Get that out of there. Get something else and move on. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I mean, I like Shesterkin, but he can't stop every puck. He can't stop 60 pucks a night. So these guys are losers. They'll miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I want to say I really do like the contract for Alexis Lafreniere. 23 years old. His RFA actually expired, and JT and I actually have him in a cap league, and signs an 8 years, $7.45 million AAV. I think that's a pretty good contract. Now you would be like, look at his stats or whatnot. It's like, okay. He's only 23, so in his 23-year-old year, he had 45 points in 82 game, 22, 57, 21, 39 points, 20, 31 points, and in his 19-year-old year, 21 points as well. I do believe they're going to be putting way more responsibility on him. You hope that basically, having Panarin as a Benajad and actually Trocheck and Miller don't actually take away from power play time that I believe he really, really deserves. You'd like to actually see him up there. Interesting thing will be is next year, Panarin's up on his last year of his deal. And if they come out of the gate and are kind of like, like not great. They came out of the gate gangbusters last year, and then man, did they hit, an all-time low. And that was like a lot of self-inflicted wounds, I believe. But will they try to actually move Panarin at the deadline? And I'm actually looking right now at his card here, and just taking a look at Panarin, and let's take a look and see if he actually has any no trade clauses as well in his contract. And he has a full no move clause. But I would imagine that if they're actually well out of it, he would go and actually sign with the team for short term, and then after that he'll be a 34-year-old. And but you just never quite know how old those Russians are, right? So who knows? But could a Blackhawks reunion actually be? Because the Hawks are actually really waiting for that 2026 class actually come in there. With the free agency class is just unreal next year. This year was crap. It wasn't any good at all. Next year's gonna be real, really good. You're gonna have plenty of money to actually spend. And could you end up getting Panarin out of your 35 and 36 there at like a $7 million AAV for like maybe 3 or 4 years to kind of come back? That would be amazing. But this is a pipe dream for us Hawks fans actually wanting to bring him back home. But interesting what will actually happen with him this year. If they get off to a great start, they don't have the cap space to say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and sign you to any money close to what he's making, 11.6. But I could see them saying, hey, we'll give you a 4 or 5 year deal. worth 7 or 8 if you actually want to stay. And if he's in love with New York and actually wants to stay there, have success, it'll be interesting to see what he does. So all eyes on Panarin actually moving into this season.
Let's take a jump to the Philadelphia Flyers. Aaron, what do you think about Flyers, what they've done here in the offseason? And is this team, can they finally make a little bit of a jump this year, or we think they're kind of just still stuck in neutral?
Yeah, stuck in neutral. I would say, they're going to stink. They made a bit of a splash with the Zegras signing. I actually tweeted out that what's the over under on Michigan goals for Zegras and Michkov together on the same team. I'm putting it at 4.5, and really, if DraftKings doesn't have some kind of sort of odds on this, they really missed an opportunity here. But flashy player, but I don't think we've ever have seen Zegras at his best yet. We'll see. I mean, that's his every year going into his time in Anaheim up to this point. Has been what Zegras will we see? Have we seen his best? I just don't think so. Tyson Forrester, tremendous year last year. Konechny, love him. I like the team and I like their younger players, but I just don't see any defensive depth whatsoever. I don't see the scoring that they're going to need to remain competitive in a pretty cutthroat Eastern Division. So this again will be year whatever it is, 4 or 5 of the rebuild, and then if you want to tune in, the Bobby Brink, take a drink. The guy gets a goal, take a drink. So play a drinking game with this. Have some fun with Philadelphia. They'll be competitive. They'll be good. Had a decent draft. We'll see. They didn't make a splash, but I think they'll have the cap room. Like you said, Toast, the Hawks are going to hopefully sit on a pile of money. Philly's one that could also sit on a pile of money, make a big splash in free agency next year.
Yeah, real quick, they got a guy named Alex Bump. I'm like, is
Bump and
that Philadelphia or what, man? So Bump actually played last year at Western Michigan and actually had 47 points in 42 games there for over a point per game there at Michigan. Was actually drafted fifth overall or fifth round, 133rd overall in the 2022 NHL draft. They actually have him slotted to actually maybe play some minutes this year in the deepest of dynasty leagues. And JT, you and I are actually we need to pick up some younger guys in our dynasty league that actually have well under 200 games played so we can actually have a little bit of flexibility. He just signed a 3-year, $950,000 a year AAV for to actually go in there and that may give him a shot out of training camp. They want to actually have the job. And plus, you got to love the name. You just love to get a jersey or a Philadelphia jersey that says Bump on the back, number 90, Bump 90, 90 Bump. So, JT, we have 3 spots left on our minor league roster for our dynasty league. And Aaron, don't you be going and getting our guy because we're gonna go get Alex Bump here in a couple of days. I think free agency opens up Thursday. Okay.
If he doesn't choose 69 as his playing number, he's missing. Again, it's a big missed opportunity.
Yeah, I love it. I already love this guy. I haven't even looked at him. I haven't laid eyes on him. I love him.
I am totally sold. Sold.
Yeah. So if you can put him in our queue, JT, free agency opens up in Black Aces Thursday. We need guys that are going to eat up minutes, and I think Bump's going to get some minutes this year.
I love it.
Jesus, I mean, Bump.
I got him. Put him in there.
Good. Yeah, do that right now. But that's what when we have to talk about Bump for Philadelphia's they're trash, man. they're I don't know. They get the Zegras, that's fine. Michkov, I obviously very very high on Michkov as well. Konechny's great. Tippett can actually do it. Just not very exciting team. Like you said, the defense does not look actually very, very good at all. They just signed Cam York to a pretty good deal. But there's just no, there's not a team. And they're goaltending, man. We followed them on bets last year where we're just like, you know what, we're going to just follow around who's actually playing Philly and who's actually going against their goaltending and actually just betting offense. And especially shots on goal as well. And their goaltending is very, very bad. So, yeah, I think it'll be more of the same this year.
Perfect transition to our next team, which is the Penguins, which what you just said is actually what I was thinking when I was trying to think, okay, what are some positive things I can say about the Penguins? Because defensively, they have liability. They are not good defensively. They were horrific on the power play 2 years in a row. They have no goaltending. They're going to give up 6 million goals a game. So much like your successful Philly strategy last year, I would also incorporate the Pittsburgh strategy as well. So the whole state of Pennsylvania, you got a team that plays there. Actually, the Gavin McKenna just signed at Penn State. So there's one hockey team that can play in the state. The other two cannot. I don't know what the Hershey Bears are doing. Maybe I think they're pretty good. But yeah. Pittsburgh just going to stink. Not really. Maybe Rucker McGroarty's a reason to turn in. He's a highly touted rookie. He should get some significant ice time. Everybody loves Crosby. It's fun to watch him. Other than that, again, flip the channel. I just don't see much out of Pittsburgh.
Does Crosby make it through his entire career as a Penguin? I noticed some talk to him actually going to Colorado, but yet he has a 2-year deal, 8.7 his number, like you actually said before. I want to talk about him briefly, but also too, I think Rickard Rakell is going to do it again this year. And if you look at this here, Brian Rust is 33. He's often injured. Malkin, he's actually surprised us and actually played quite a bit of games here at 38 years old. Crosby, 37. And Crosby ain't slowing down. I'm sorry. Crosby's still a great player, still producing. I mean, not going to crap on Crosby. I mean, one of the top 10 all-time players ever. But I think Rickard Rakell, what he did last year, I think he's going to continue doing this year, man. He is a guy that's actually proven to put the puck in the back of the net. Last year, he actually had a monster season, 35 goals, 35 assists, 70 points in 81 games. Very reliable, 19 minutes on time on ice. I like Rakell, especially like if in a cap league, he's got 3 more years at $5 million per. And I think Pittsburgh actually knows that. They're going to rely on him a great deal. I love Rakell in redraft leagues, man. If you can let him go and slip down to you in the 8th round, 9th round, pick him up. I mean, he's in my mind, he's going to be a top 50 player probably in most formats. And he'll probably be drafted, average draft position ADP probably around 100 to 110, 115, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Another sleeper. I'd take a flyer on him. His shooting percentage was at 17%. It's a little high, but not crazy high. Not over 20. Anything over 20 is like, yeah. So it's. Yep.
Our last but not least team, the Washington Capitals. What do we think about the Caps? A team that kind of shock and awe last year was just phenomenal. Didn't see that one coming. I know, Aaron, you got a buddy with the franchise. What are we thinking? They got to take a step back, right? Or is this team in position to keep it up after just a great season last year?
Again, it's the conflict with the head and the heart. I think both head and heart say they're going to make the playoffs. Again, I know this isn't a playoff prediction pod, but I think they keep going. I think what we saw from Protas was another Russian. Go figure. Breakout season from him. More to come. He's a huge giant. He's a killer. Ryan Leonard is he played very well. Didn't show up on the score sheet, but he had a presence on the ice. You knew when he was out there throwing his weight around a little bit. He'll start to score. He'll show up on the score sheet. Pierre-Luc Dubois had his best season of his professional career. Connor McMichael had it coming out. I don't think Ovi will get the 40 some odd goals that he got last year. So we'll see a little bit dip there, but defensively, I think they're sound. They've got a solid defense. They've got the goalie tandem that can do it, that have proven that they work well together. They don't really fight over ice time, don't ever fight over the net, at least don't seem to. So I think we'll see. We've kind of got a standard set with Carberry there, that this is what we do. This is, we're going to be consistent. They're not going to win the division, but they're not going to falter further beyond a wild card. So not a whole lot of shout out to off-season moves, but I would say the key to all this, the rookie that's been up a couple of times, but Hendrix Lapierre, I think if he doesn't do it and come out and at least stay on the roster this year, then you have the potential at some regression. I want to see this kid do very well. I hope he does. And if he does well, I think that could really influence where this team ends up. But yeah, I like these guys. I like them a lot.
Yep, I'm with you, Aaron. I think they just know how to win, right? That's a pretty tight locker room. The fact that they actually brought in PLD last year and it worked out, and they actually fit in like perfectly with those guys, like wow. And Protas actually had a big year as well. And if you look at Protas' younger brother, Ilya Protas, Windsor Spitfires, I'm guessing are in the OHL. I don't know. I'm guessing are in the OHL. They actually drafted him. Man, look at this guy's numbers. JT, another guy, we better just go look and see if we can actually pick up. Dynasty. Now, Aaron, you'd be going and getting our guy. Okay. So, but he's probably already picked up. Look up the Windsor Spitfires if you guys could, real quick. I want to see if they're in the OHL. I assume they are. But what he did in the OHL last year, man, was crazy. In 61 games played, this is again Alexis Protas, younger brother Ilya, who they actually have rights to. 50 goals, 74 assists, 124 points in 61 games, 2 points a game right there. And I'm guessing that's an OHL. But they actually have him signed for 3 more years at $857. You got to wonder, he's 18 years old. He's 6'5", 196 pounds. Man, he's a monster. They drafted him 3rd round of last year's draft, 75th overall. With that type of size, he may get a look. He may get a look this year. I know his birthday is actually a July birthday, so he just turned 18. Right? So my guess is he's probably not going to get a look, but he could. And if it's not next year, it's the year after. So he's got to be climbing up the AHL this year, I would assume.
Yeah, there's something over there in that. Again, you're the Russian expert. Maybe you can come back with an exclusive report on what they're feeding these guys. But whatever it is in the Protas family, these guys are huge. You were right. It is the OHL, Windsor Spitfires. So it'd be kind of cool to see him or see that bloodline. Again, hockey is one of those sports where you just see those bloodlines, whether it's father-son, brothers. We talked about it last pod a little bit. You see that pretty consistently with hockey. When one guy can play, then his brother comes along and can play as well. So could be the case.
Yeah, JT, put him in our queue. All right, put him in the queue again Thursday.
He's already in my that one. I'm stealing.
Damn it, you! I mean, then maybe one we're in our home league where we actually have enough cap space there, and we actually have enough money to actually spend throughout the season there for Fab. I'm probably going to go ahead and just take a flyer on that guy. Why not? I got a couple of spaces left.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks, guys. Sorry about my internet issues. Thanks for Aaron and Toast for carrying the show for me as I was having all kinds of issues over here. Hopefully we get those resolved for the future. We appreciate everybody joining us here on the Around the Ice on Fantasy in Frames. Make sure to follow us, like us, check us out on the podcast, YouTube, all that. We appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for sticking around. Every Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time here on Fantasy and Frames. You'll find us Around the Ice getting loaded up here for hockey season. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Check everybody later.